Vivian Vance was more than Ethel Mertz. She was a trailblazer whose laughter and resilience helped define the golden age of television. Born Vivian Roberta Jones on July 26, 1909, in Cherryvale, Kansas, she grew up in the Midwest, where a strict upbringing and a large family shaped her early life. Even as a young girl, she felt the pull of the stage and the power of storytelling. Vance's determination led her to study drama at the University of Colorado, where she learned the foundations of a career that would eventually span theater, film, and television. Yet, it was her role on I Love Lucy that would make her a household name and a pioneering female comedic presence. Decades later, Vance would reveal that behind the laughter, the show's set was filled with tension, ambition, and the quiet cost of being part of television history. From Midwest to Broadway, a life built on grit. Vance began her career on the stage in the 1930s, working in community theater and repertory companies across the United States. She earned a reputation for her sharp comic timing, dramatic strength, and stage presence. Her early work eventually led her to Broadway, where she appeared in productions like Music in the Air and The Voice of the Turtle. It was a time when the theater was demanding, competitive, and unforgiving. Yet Vance thrived. Her training and experience gave her a discipline that would later become essential on the fast-paced television sets of the 1950s. Even then, she was recognized as a serious actress, not merely a performer who could deliver a joke. The stage gave her confidence, and confidence would become the foundation for the role that would define her life. The breakthrough, becoming Ethel Mertz. In 1951, I Love Lucy debuted, and Vivian Vance's life changed forever. Cast as Ethel Mertz, Lucy Ricardo's wisecracking neighbor and best friend, Vance quickly became an essential part of the show's chemistry. Her relationship with Lucille Ball became one of television's most iconic partnerships, rooted in timing, trust, and an unspoken understanding of comedic rhythm. Ethel was more than a side character. She was the emotional anchor, the voice of reason, and the perfect foil to Lucy's chaos. Vance's performance was both grounded and hilarious, making Ethel feel real in a way few sitcom characters ever had. In 1954, she won an Emmy for Best Supporting Actress, becoming the first woman to receive the award, proof that her talent was not only beloved, but respected. The reality behind the laughter. Despite the show's cheerful facade, Vance later admitted that the set was not always as harmonious as viewers believed. She revealed that the pressure to perform, especially under the watchful eye of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz's Desilu Productions, was intense. Ball was a perfectionist, demanding precise timing and flawless execution. Vance spoke about the long rehearsal days and the strain of performing in front of a live studio audience, where a single mistake could break the flow of a scene. She also spoke candidly about feeling overshadowed and at times frustrated by her character's limitations. Ethel was often portrayed as older, frumpier, and more conservative than Vance herself, which made her feel boxed in. Yet, she stayed committed to the show, knowing the opportunity was rare and the platform powerful. The tension with Fred. A partnership that never warmed. One of the most surprising revelations Vance shared was her tense relationship with William Frawley, who played her on-screen husband, Fred Mertz. Vance reportedly felt uncomfortable with the age gap, believing the pairing made her look older than she was. She once joked that no one would believe she would marry someone as old as Fred. Frawley, known for his quick temper and sharp tongue, took offense and never fully forgave her. Their relationship remained strained throughout the series, marked by sarcasm, coldness, and occasional hostility. Yet, for all the tension, both actors maintained professional performance standards. Their friction, Vance later admitted, made their chemistry oddly believable. The bickering, the resentment, and the humor all felt real, because the actors themselves were living the tension off-screen. The price of perfection, Ball's control on set. Vance also exposed the strict, controlled Desilu Productions exercised over the cast's appearance and behavior. She revealed that she was required to keep her weight within a specific range to maintain the comedic contrast with Lucille Ball. Ethel's frumpy wardrobe and makeup were designed to emphasize the difference between the two women, even though Vance was stylish and youthful off-screen. The policy frustrated her, but she complied because she understood the power dynamics and the importance of job security in Hollywood. Vance admitted that she sometimes felt the show treated her as a caricature rather than a person. Still, she recognized the success of the formula and remained professional, knowing that the character of Ethel would become beloved for generations. Her discomfort, however, remained a quiet truth behind the show's perfect facade. The show's revolutionary working methods. Beyond personal tensions, Vance spoke proudly of the technical innovations that made I Love Lucy groundbreaking. The show was filmed rather than broadcast live, allowing for higher quality and greater longevity. It used the 3-camera setup and featured long rehearsals before taping, giving the actors a level of precision rare for the era. Vance said the live audience created an electric atmosphere, but also added pressure because the performers had to deliver their lines and physical comedy perfectly in one take. She credited the show's success to this immediacy, an authentic connection between performer and viewer that made laughter feel communal. Vance understood that I Love Lucy wasn't just a sitcom, it was a revolution in television production, one that changed how shows were made forever. The personal cost of iconic success. As the show's popularity grew, Vance faced the long-term consequences of being forever linked to one character. She spoke about the difficulty of being typecast as casting directors and producers struggled to see her as anyone other than Ethel Mertz. Though she continued to work in spin-offs like the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour and later The Lucy Show, she often found herself limited by the public's expectations. Still, Vance never expressed bitterness. Instead, she expressed pride in the role and gratitude for the joy it brought millions of viewers. She continued to love the character and the show's legacy, even as she worked to prove she was more than a single part. The shadow of Ethel may have followed her, but it was also the light that illuminated her career. Love, loss, and a final peace. Vivian Vance's personal life was complex, shaped by a series of marriages and a search for stability. Her longest marriage to actor Philip Ober lasted 18 years but was reportedly strained by jealousy and abuse. Later, in 1961, she married John Dodds, a literary agent who brought peace and intellectual companionship. Their relationship was described as supportive and stabilizing, a quiet refuge from the turmoil of her earlier years. In 1974, they moved to California, and Vance enjoyed a quieter life away from the spotlight. Her final years were marked by declining health, yet she remained cherished by friends and fans. When she died of metastatic breast cancer on August 17, 1979, she left behind a legacy of laughter and a story of resilience that reached far beyond television. Outro. The truth behind the laughter. Vivian Vance gave the world one of television's most enduring friendships, Ethel and Lucy, and she did so while carrying a private burden few viewers ever saw. Her revelations about tension with co-stars, strict studio control, and the pressures of fame remind us that even the brightest laughter can hide deep struggles. Yet she remained proud of the work, grateful for the opportunities, and loyal to the show that made her a legend. Lucille Ball's later admiration for Vance captured the truth of her talent. "I find that now I usually spend my time looking at Viv," Ball said, watching reruns. "She was sensational." And that is the legacy Vivian Vance left behind. Not just a comic sidekick, but a powerful performer whose truth was as real as her laughter.